Hello and a very good day to you, Madam Cynthia, and to my other fellow group mates as well. My name is Kritika Armugam, so today I'll be presenting you about the introduction part of our project. Okay, before really getting into the content, let me just slightly introduce you about the short story that we have chose basically. Okay, the short story that we have chose is Boys and Girls, which was written by a very famous Canadian short story writer who was none other than Alice Munro. Uh, she is basically known for her best literature works, which is short stories. Okay, Alice Munro published this short story in 1964, which was very, very, very long ago. Okay, what is this story about basically? Okay, what is Boys and Girls about? Okay, Boys and Girls is about a young girl who whose childhood was entangled with gender experiences. She had to face gender inequalities issues around her, even in her own family. Okay, um, this story basically portrays that girls should be only in the way where the society is expected them to be. Okay, in those times, in those eras, women are only meant to handle the houseworks, do the house chores, take care of the kids, take care of the family needs. They are only categorized in such way. Okay, they are only expected to perform such duties, and uh, they are not really expected and encouraged to work like men's basically. So that is what's the story about. Okay, the young girl, the main character in the story, basically had to face gender inequalities issues even in her own family. The way her parents treat her, the way her brother treat her would be so different that they have this expectation and limitation that is always put on her, that she has no choice but have to follow it. Okay, the story is about the young girl where you know she has this interest and passion to go out and work on the farm with the father, but what happens in the story, the mother will not allow her to be there in that specific place, but wants her to help her in the kitchen. Okay, this is how the gender inequality is portrayed in the story. you know uh, the author, basically Alice Munro, is trying to highlight the gender inequality issues that happened during that era, basically in 1964, long long ago. In those times, she basically focuses and highlights the gender inequalities that happened in that era in this story, so that readers have this knowledge where you know those times women were like that. Okay, women were treated like that, women were limited in that way, and women are not really they are not really encouraged to be free, be bold, be independent, and do what they like basically. So that is what Boys and Girls is all about. I think that's all from me.
Hello madam, my name is Katie. So for my part, I will be explaining about the general overview for the short story, Boys and Girls. So for my part, there are three important things. The first one is the genre of the short story. The second one is the plot and setting. And the last one is the literary devices. So for the first part is the genre of the short story. So basically the genre of the short story is the fiction genre. Why? Because the short story is basically written by reflecting our real life situation. So for example, the plot, the setting, and also the theme, all these are from our real life situation, and the author used these to create the short story Boys and Girls. So for the second part is plot and setting. So talk about setting for the short story. It's actually about an unnamed girl who is living in the rural farm in Canada. And for the plot of the story, it's talking about the young girl, the unnamed girl, is struggling to her desire and the norms and expectations that given by her parents. So the girl is actually enjoy and love to do the farm chores, but the family, the parents expected her to help in doing house chores. So there's the plot and the setting for this short story. Okay, so let's move on to the third part, which is the themes of the short story. In my opinion, there are two key concepts that the author trying to bring out through the short story, which is the gender roles and the identity and self-discovery. So for the story, the main character is actually
Good morning,
know
madam.
about
My name is
what
Jamie
she
Titushan,
wants
and I'm here
and
to give
what
a poetic
is
tribute to
her
Mrs.
desire.
Alice Munro.
And because of
In Boys
her
and Girls,
identity
a
as
tale
girl,
unfolds of a young
the
girl,
parents
brave
are
and bold.
giving her some
She dreams
different
of more
expectation.
beyond the
For
farm,
example,
but
the
feels the
main character
world's
is actually
quiet
love
charm.
to do the farm works and
Alice
helping her
Munro,
father
with
in the
gentle
farm.
care,
But
shows how we
since
grow
her
and learn to
identity
share.
is as a girl,
A story
the
simple
parents are
yet so
actually
true,
expected
revealing
her
life's
to
quiet
do the
view.
housework
To
rather than
Alice
the farm
Munro,
work.
who helps us
But
see
for the
the
gender
small
roles,
moments
there are
that
actually
set
two
us
important
free.
characters. The first
Thank
one
you.
is for sure the main character, and the second one is the young boy, the younger brother. Okay, so the younger brother is actually represent the boys, and the main character is represent the girls. So these two characters are used to compare the gender norms and expectation that given from the society. So it's actually discussing about is that female or girl can just doing the house chores or taking care of kids, and they can't even have their own desire if their desire are different or uncommon. Like the character love to do the farm work, like also riding the horse. So in their parents' eyes, they will feel like it's actually the work for man or male. So for the female, you should taking care of kids and doing the house chores. So it's actually the process of the main character like struggling with her own identity and the gender roles that given by her parents and the society. Okay, so for the last part, which is the literary devices. So after I read the short story, I can conclude two things. The first thing first is the point of view of the short story. Okay, so the point of view of short story, we can say she is also a style for writing a story. So the author is using a narrative style to write this short story, which means that the younger is actually like a narrator that narrate her own experiences and her own story. So why the author have to use this technique? For me, I think it's because she hope and she wants the reader can apply themselves as the main character of the story. For this can let the reader to immediately understand the main character thought and also the feelings. Okay, so for the second one is the imagery. The young girl for me is actually like mirroring the females in the society. So they have their own identity like as a girl. So in the society there are a lot of things that saying girls cannot do this, girl cannot do that, and then the girl have you must do house chores, you have to taking care of kids. There are a lot of sounds like this in the society. So the author is use a vivid imagery to bring the real life experiences, and also she actually have to emphasize the theme of the story by using the imagery. Like for the theme is the gender role and also the identity and self-discovery, right? So the author is trying to use the imagery to let the reader imagine about what if she is the main character. Yeah, so actually the point of view, the first point of view and also the imagery are both giving the reader a space to apply them as the main character in the story. Yeah, so that's all from me. Thank you.
So, good morning to Dr. Cynthia. My name is Nur Akmal Hazilia. I'll be present you about evaluation, strength, and the weakness. So, we chose Boys and Girls by Alice Munro for our short story. So, there's seven weak strength and five weakness. So, I'll be explaining about the strength first. So, for the first one, deep characterization, Munro is known for her detailed and realistic portrayal of characters, and this story is no exception. So, sorry. So, the protagonist, a young girl, is portrayed with nuance, capturing the complexity of her inner thoughts, emotion, and the societal expectation imposed on her. So next, themes of gender roles and identity. The story explores the themes of gender roles and the constraint they impose on individual. It shows how society defines and confines the roles of boys and girls, and how this expectation shape the protagonist's sense of identity. So for the next one, symbolism. The story is rich in symbolism, with elements like the fox and the gate representing the boundaries of freedom and the societal expectation. The release of the horse at the end symbolized the protagonist's own desire for freedom from the gender norms that restrict her. Next, psychological depth. The story itself delves into the psychological development of the protagonist as she comes to terms with her identity and the roles that society expects her to play. The internal conflict and the eventual resignation to societal norms are portrayed with great sensitivity. Realistic setting. So, Monroe set the story in a rural environment, which she described the precision and detail. So, this setting not only ground the story in a particular time and place, but also enhance the theme by constructing the protagonist in the world with the external realities she faced. For moral ambiguity, Alice Munro does not offer clear-cut resolution, which add to the depth of the story. Um, the protagonist's action and decision are not presented as simply right or wrong, but as a complex responses to her circumstance, which invite readers to reflect on their own experience and societal norms. So, for the last one, literary style. Monroe prose is known for its clarity and subtlety. She used a simple but powerful style that allows the story to resonate emotionally with the readers without overt dramatization. So I'll be move on the weaknesses of the story. So for the first one is pacing and development. Some reader might find that the story unfolds slowly, particularly in its initial stages. The detailed description and slow build up could potentially lose the reader's interest, but the central conflict become clear. So next one, character depth. While the protagonist is well developed, others' character, especially the parents, might be seen as a somewhat dimensional. They primarily serve to embody societal expectation with much complexity or development of their own personality or motivation. For ambiguity, the story's ending is somewhat open to interpretation, which can be seen as a strength but also a weakness. So, for the reader who prefer clear resolution, might find the conclusion unsatisfying and ambiguous. For the fourth one, limited perspective. So the story is told from the perspective of the young girl, which provides depth to her characters, but limits the understanding of other character and their motivation. This narrow viewpoint may leave some readers wishing for more insight into the thoughts and feelings for other characters. So for the last one, for weaknesses, repetitive themes. So Monroe often explore themes of gender roles and the societal expectation in her works. So for some reader may feel that boys and girls revisit this theme without offering new insights, making it seem repetitive in the context of her broader body of work. That's all for me.
Good morning, madam. My name is Jamie Tizu Xuan, and I'm here to give a poetic tribute to Mrs. Alice Munro. In Boys and Girls, a tale unfolds of a young girl, brave and bold. She dreams of more beyond the farm, but feels the world's quiet charm. Alice Munro, with gentle care, shows how we grow and learn to share. A story simple yet so true, revealing life's quiet view. To Alice Munro, who helps us see the small moments that set us free. Lastly, I would like to thank Mrs. Alice Munro for showing us the beauty in everyday life and the strengths in simple stories. Your words will forever help us to see the world with new eyes. Thank you.